No More Heroes 3 is the fourth installment in the No More Heroes series, developed and published by Grasshopper Manufacturer. The game came out on Switch in 2021 and was later released with enhanced visuals and performance on other platforms in the last half of 2022. Like past games, No More Heroes 3 is very self-referential and pays homage to many other types of media, such as movies and anime. Satire runs rampant even more so in this entry, and the unhinged commentary is all the more amusing. Suda51 described the game as the conclusion of Travis' touchdown, so many were looking forward to the finale of the character. But when the game came out, a lot of the focus shifted on the world around him.
Let's go!
Start the game.
No More Heroes 3 is set 9 years after No More Heroes 2, and 2 years after Travis strikes again. Travis and the gang are relaxing back at the No More Heroes Hotel in Santa Destroy, California. Since Travis's absence, his hometown and areas around it have seen some new construction, repairs, and reformations. Most notably, a mega corporation known as Utopia has created an island where Utopialand stands, and more or less has ruling power over all surrounding areas. Aliens invade Utopia, and through cooperation between the two forces of the alien leader Fu and the Utopia leader Damon, another ranked fighting competition is established, with Fu at the top. Travis and his crew of Shinobu, Bad Girl, and Badman get ambushed by aliens at their home base, unwillingly thrusted into the mix of death and revenge.
Fu, what are you?
I'm a goddamn superhero.
No More Heroes 3 has been long awaited, and it feels good being back in Travis's shoes. Travis plays similarly to past games, but now he is still equipped with a Death Glove from Travis Strikes Again, which gives him a few other moves to gain the upper hand during combat, like being able to toss an enemy across the battlefield or into another enemy to trip them up. Travis has all of his basic attacks as well, like being able to perform light and heavy swings with his beam katana. The more attacks you pull off, then the higher the tension gauge increases, which allows for harder hitting attacks, and the more damage is done to Travis, the more the gauge depletes. When an enemy's health is low enough, Travis can perform a finishing attack through a button prompt that activates a spinning slot machine wheel. Different combinations on the wheel can give Travis different buffs, like filling your health up, powering up attacks, or a big attack that deals damage to everyone on the battlefield. Travis can also block and dodge like before, and perfect dodges and counters can be executed if timed correctly.
Perfect location. Oh yeah, don't forget, always stop by the toilet if you find one, especially before boss fights. You need time to get your thoughts in order, so you know, save your damn game!
Fighting is fabulously flashy and supremely stylish. Travis bleeds cool. The way he enters battles and readies his beam sword emits so much swagger. The muffled grinding of contact between your attacks and the alien's flesh feels fantastic, and mixed with the slowdowns and extra power-ups make fighting alluring and addicting. Travis feels powerful, and it feels great controlling him. But then when your sword runs out of power, it's ridiculously comical how Travis has to stand there and power it up again. You feel so cool pulling off some of Travis's berry-themed attacks, and the last hit before the stat screen is really impactful and influences you to become better at fighting to get a better rank.
Get some!
There are sushi bars in the game, and you can buy sushi to eat while in battle to give you different buffs, or there is sushi you can eat that activates when you enter your next battle. Back at the hotel, you can upgrade different attributes like health or create chips through scraps you get after battles to slot into the Death Glove like in Travis Strikes Again to give you alternate ways to approach battles. There's also a slew of other short and long-term objectives like finding comic books, collecting different shirts you can change into, finding your cat Jean's kittens, capsule toys to collect for your room, and more. The way the gameplay loop plays out is mundane and superlative at the same time. You basically need an entry fee to enter the different fights through defense and volunteer missions. Defense missions see you fighting off enemies, and volunteer missions have you complete random jobs for money. Cutting grass, collecting litter from alligator-infested waters, and getting crazy driving hooligans off the road by chasing them down on your motorbike are types of volunteer missions you'll come across. After turning in your money and accepting the next fight, after a cutscene or two, you are whisked away to the upcoming boss. It is a bit underwhelming that there is really no lead-up or any kind of actual level going to the boss. One second you are on the ground turning in your money at an ATM, and the next second you are walking through outer space. Then you just keep doing this throughout the entire game. The game oozes charm in its approach to the typical way a game is usually played, but there is no substance that is offered. Abrupt situations like this are indicative to how unfinished the game is.
That's steep, man.
The world is pretty big and there are different zones that you go to, but it is completely empty and devoid of life. Buildings and other features around the open world are of poor quality. You can get around on your bike, but make a wrong faulty move and you'll be launched off of it, which is annoying through tight areas where it is easy to hit something and you have to watch the slow animation of standing up and having to get back on your bike. There are some random NPCs that walk around robotically and have a blank expression, but that's about it. So not only is there a lack of any sort of fun or urgency completing missions and side quests, but your vacant surroundings ostracizes you from even wanting to do anything to begin with. With that said, the humdrum of completing these monotonous tasks harks back to a message the game is trying to say about what we as people are actually doing in the world. What we have to do and deal with to be comfortable in the world we live in, and why we even do it to exist. All of this blended in with how Travis is doing all of this to save the world from a world-invading alien. There's obviously something there that is being communicated, but through all the fourth wall breaking, the game being unfinished doesn't really help the case. There are areas on the map that you can't get to through normal means, but the areas are finished and you never have access to them. Suda has gone on record about some things that have been cut, that would have really created more of a backbone for the game. No More Heroes 3 is for sure a labor of love from Suda51 and the team, and they did everything they could to get the game out. But with this game being the fourth installment of the series, it almost seems unfaithful to Travis to not have his world fully realized.
I hope you liked it! My hyper-modern artwork. I project images relevant to one another onto physical matter, making it seem as though there's a beautiful space existing right there. It's cutting-edge magic.
So projection mapping, right? I'm already sick of seeing that shit. With this sort of thing, from like the second time you see it, your brain already understands what's going on. You can't not see it as fake.
Oh, snap!
The music in No More Heroes 3 is astonishingly endearing. The amount of admiration and craft that went into making the soundtrack is incomparable. Some of these melodies are exquisitely haunting and others can get your heart racing and pump you up for a fight. It is surprising how much the music feels wholly united with the gameplay and the overall ambiance the environments give you. There are also many different styles of music that get played and never once does it fail to deliver. There were also a dozen glitches I ran into playing No More Heroes 3. Graphical glitches like shadows flickering or disappearing were abundant. Other things like bugged trophies on the PS5 version of the game, textures not loading, and performance problems happened often. One thing that bugged me was there was a volunteer mission that whenever it was interacted with, it would close your game. The first time I tried playing that mission, I hadn't saved for over a couple hours, so that pushed me back far enough to where it was annoying. A lot of these things have been fixed, and most of them didn't impact me in a significant way, but I figure it may be worth mentioning that I did experience them while trying to get through the game.
Don't worry, you're a good secretary. I'll allow you to live. Okay, that's enough for the entertainment. Time for a strategy meeting.
No More Heroes is super hammy and cheesy, but in a good way. The eccentric characters all have their roles that they play wonderfully, and Travis Touchdown is as sincere and insane as ever. Combat, while mediocre, flourishes because of its flair, silliness, and fun. Fans of this series will recognize and adhere to the game being loud in their faces, with off-the-rails writing and random twists and turns in the story for shock value. Although the game is full of style, the world the style inhabits is insultingly empty and unpolished. It seems as if it's a case of a rushed product that had many hurdles it needed to go through to reach the finish line, with how brimmed with nothing the game is. Though the tasks that you have to complete outside of battle may get stale after having to do them multiple times to get to the fighting, that fighting is worth fighting for. The sound and music design carry the inordinate fun of the combat, taking it to new and thrilling heights for the series. I give No More Heroes 3 an 8 out of 10.